had to stop filming for a second to check my resolution. Am I coming in high definition? How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Monkey Shine Lab today. There's no other way to put it. I am starting to get chaos organized. For those of you not in the know, I received a mystery package from Andre at First 117, and he sent me a box, basically, if you will, a wine box. If you're familiar with drinking wine, I used to. Once upon a time, it wasn't my favorite thing, but anyway, it comes in cases. Wine boxes look about, yay big. Anyway, it was really heavy. And there is a treasure trove of comic books in this collection here, which he's sent me. This is stuff which has been accruing in his home for a little while. And as things of a nerdish nature do, they seemed to multiply and begin to take over the place, and he got tired of dealing with it. He didn't want to deal with the obvious problems of dealing with the collector set of this sort. And so he shipped all of his problems off to me, and I'm very thankful, by the way, to him and his wife for their generosity in this way. He's doing all right. He's making good grades. He's got a future bright enough to wear shades. God, I hated that song. Why did that come to my mind now? Anyway, this is what happens as you get older, and bits of songs and all that other stuff get lodged in your head. They get knocked loose like a pinball that got stuck, and then you hit it with the other one and it gets loose. My mind is a little bit like that. Kick drums, really loud, for about 30 years, maybe more. Anyway, story for another day. So he sent me all this stuff, so I'm beginning to organize it, and why not do it alphabetically? Since there were so many Avengers comics, I'm starting with Batman. I want to get this stuff rebagged and reboarded. If you have not seen this type of thing before, you can kind of see I've taken some older issues that I've gotten out of my own collection. I've taken them out of their old bags and old boards. Sometimes the materials can be really pretty decent still, but the point is to change them out, get rid of the flotsam and jetsam of other things, and or when something comes to you used, generally it's a good idea to just change the oil, right? And you buy a used car, you go and change the oil, change all the fluids, in fact, get it all flushed out, because that's usually where the sticky stuff is. I'm starting with Batman, and I wanted to point out something that people say, well, why is it that it was such a hassle for Andre to deal with these? Well, first of all, collectors of all nature. That's point number one. But point number two, just to show you, okay, I've got 2 issues of Batman here. Okay, this one is issue 466, Batman, right? 466. And then I've got an issue 469, right? And they're a little different. The graphic is a different color, but you can see there's a bat outline around the Batman of a similar font, though it's a different color here. There's no coloration on the bat on this one, but there is on this one. The other difference that you can see immediately is this upper left corner. My other right. The upper left corner of each The issue price is exactly the same, but what's changed is the graphic right there. Now this is from August, and then this is September. This is part 3 at issue 466, done by different artists, done by different writers, okay? But yet they were a month apart at the time. This was back in 1991. They were only a month apart at the time. So telling multiple stories, multiple different stages of issues, in the same set of months, okay? So for me, even a seasoned collector, looking at these is confusing, okay? Just trying to figure out where they go in the sequence of things. And I've said this before, they actually, DC and Warner crank out more Batman content, more Batman licensed gear, more Batman crap than any of their other cash cows, being Superman and Wonder Woman. You know, what they call the Trinity of DC. So in looking at these, you know, thank Jah that they make something called Google Lens. So I'm going to instruct you on a little secret of collecting stuff here right now, and I expect you to go forth in the world and be good with this information. It may save your life, may save your pocketbook for sure. On your phone, if you download the Google app, in their search bar now, there is a little camera icon. If you click that icon, it will take a picture of anything and it will search what it's looking at. And that can be a 3D item in your hands. It can be a 2D item like a comic book, okay? It can scan the cover and it will tell you everything there is to know about that comic book, including what it's valued at probably about 50 different locations on the planet Earth, okay? If you're looking to figure out the price that you should ask for these comic books, should they be in the most pristine corners and edges and everything is perfect about it, believe me, somebody's gonna ask. The best you can expect is pretty much the lowest value you will find currently on eBay. And as my wife loves to temper when I say something like this, and it's an absolutely valid point, it's only that price if you can get somebody else to agree upon it. Think about that again, because it's very sage wisdom. Okay, things only have a value that two people can agree upon, the seller and the buyer. So, you know, your mileage, your cost may vary. Okay, and also remember, when you deal with an eBay price, they are also looking at a built-in profit loss by selling it that way, as opposed to collector to collector on marketplace, if you will. Okay, so there's, you know, getting your price information is not necessarily the thing to use Google Lens for. And when you do Google Lens on anything, whether it's a Hot Wheel car, a Zamac car, or it's an action figure, or my baseball cap, or my glasses, or anything else that I might be missing, and I check the crisper from my keys. It'll give you a general knowledge of price, but don't take any of that as guarantees or anything of that nature. Okay? The other thing about it, though, is that it will tell you everything there is to know about it. So I can scan these covers and I can somebody on the internet has wikied this very subject right here. How these storylines could be all going on in 1991. The secret being is that they were putting out the comic books that made the most amount of money. Batman. And they didn't, back in 91, the comics industry was an absolute mess. So there's a ton of stuff that you need to know, even just to be a passive collector like myself. I collect what I like. I collect what I want to read. I do sometimes grab things that I think in the future my grandkids would like to read. They express interest in superheroes from time to time, so it's good to have this stuff around. I can actually indulge them, and not just on a, well, go Google it and learn something, kid. These can be starters of discussion long into the future, and bits of entertainment and art long after I'm dead. Another thing Annie kind of jabs me about, and I think it's a pretty good idea as well. She said, you go through and you find all of these values on these books, which is, again, not my intent, because I'm not going to turn around and resell most of them. But she said, what you need to do is put some sort of information with each issue that's significant, at least, that tells your grandkids in the future, maybe don't throw this one away quite so quickly. And if I had to do that, I'd have a note. I'd have a bunch of notes and errors and lines and diagrams on the back of each one of them describing what it is. Look that up. It's Arlo Guthrie. I'm not going to be here to educate you on popular music from the past century. It's not my job. My job is to show you nerd stuff. So anyway, some of these Batman covers, if you think about this is 1991, and Batman got really, really, really revitalized only a couple of years later, before, with the Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton Batman, the Tim Burton Batman. So at this point, Batmania and their ability to cash in on some of these comic books was at an all-time high. Also coming with some of these, Andre was nice enough to include 2 copies. Sometimes when you run across a collector's stash, and if they know somebody or they know something or they think they know something, most of them do, they'll stash away the first 6 issues that they picked up from their friend who ran the dispersal at the time. Also, the other great thing about these is that they live in a time capsule, and I mean, they're come on, the Road Warriors, remember them? I do. So what I'm going to do is, after I get these all sort of shown to you, okay, I'm going to get them all bagged up and boarded. Here's another interesting thing that they did with this series at this exact same time. Okay, this is probably 1992, maybe early 92. 472, I could tell you the information if I looked on the publishing line, but I'm not gonna, okay? The point is to talk about that this is Batman. This is the same imprint that we were talking about before. And that's, this is the Idiot Route Part 1, okay? It started in this Batman. And then on the same month, probably, or the next month, it jumped over the next part. Part 2 was in Detective Comics. See, the Idiot Route. Maybe I should change the name of the show. And then here's Part 3, back in Batman. Okay, so it bounced from Batman to Detective Comics and back to Batman again. I am going to have to Google scan these and figure out exactly what I'm looking at. Okay. If you look on the backs of some of these, they're really fun. Here's an ad for LA Guns' new record. Remember the LA Guns, man? Yeah, neither do I. Actually, I remember them, but I wasn't a fan. And Smash TV. Okay. Video games of the time. They are product of their era in so many different ways. Okay. And again, dual copies. But I really love the cover art, and these are some crisp copies. Despite being shipped fairly unprotected and probably existing the last several years in a damaging environment or two, this is the only issue, this one right here, and it has some water damage right down here on the cover, maybe some reader handling damage, which again, I don't mind. This is stuff from the 90s. There's so much of it around, not just Batman, but comic books from the 90s are largely not valued by anyone in the reseller market outside of people trying to be completists and complete their collections, or the most ardent fans who have to have everything that a comic line did eventually.
I'm in your face.
The point of all of this is to show you, just in a dozen issues, how much difference there can be, how much subtle variation there is to check for. If you want to go into pricing and grading comic books, that's an entirely different discussion, or two or three. And I'm not going to have those with you right now. But that's what I've got for you right now. I'm going to take the Batman, the dozen issues I've got here, and I'm going to put a fresh bag and a fresh board on each and every one of those lucky little souls. And then we'll see how far my bag and board supply goes. I think I've got far less than a whole pack of each. You're costing me money, Andre. No, the truth is that he's saving me and my family as a result, a tremendous amount of hassle, bullshit, outside expense. So Annie thanks you, Andre. I thank you, Andre. And I thank you for watching this episode. Long-winded though it may be, I hope it's been amusing and somewhat informative. We'll see. At the very least, you got to look at a slightly different angle of the room. I don't know. There's a whole bunch left, folks. There are probably, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's probably close to, if not exceeding, $100 or 100 books. Maybe a little less, but we'll find out. That's all part of this too, by the way. We're going to be doing piece count. We're going to be talking about the quality of the books. Some of them are a little older than this. Some of them are a little newer, but most of them are some stuff that I haven't even seen, so I'm really looking forward to showing it to you. If you think about it, everybody, throw us a subscribe down below. It won't hurt you, and it does wonderful things for every content creator on the internet, on this platform anyway. So the thing to do if you like somebody's content is to hit the subscribe button, maybe even hit the notifications and have a notification pop up on your telephone as to when you can waste more time looking at our garbage go by. Come on, who doesn't want to know about that? I do. I have notifications going off on my phone literally all day from all the creators that I enjoy. So I'm not asking for myself necessarily, folks. I'm asking for every creator whose content you dig. Hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment while you're watching too. That also helps the algorithm to determine whether or not this is a video you'd like to share with other people. Well, you don't even have to share it. All it does is pop up in the recommended thing, you know? So all you're doing is, you're not even paying a parking meter. It's free. Free. I'm never doing that on camera again. All right, folks, I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a lot.